clean up and get down here. That'd be good.
Good evening. This is the Littleton Zoning Board of Appeals. We're at the Littleton Town Offices at 37 Shattuck Street, room 103, and tonight is December 15th, 2022. Happy holidays. At 7 o'clock p.m., we have agended minutes, member comments, and mail. So, do you want to go over the minutes? Has anyone reviewed them and is ready to comment on them, John?
I have no comments. I've reviewed them.
6. So, Kitty, you weren't here.
I reviewed them, I have no issue.
No issue.
Reviewed, no issue.
And Cheryl, did you review them?
Reviewed, no
No
issue.
issue. I would just like to just change a couple of words in the storage container discussion. It says Gould stated the board has no jurisdiction to make legislation. I just want to say authority rather than jurisdiction. That's not one of our powers, so I don't think it's technically jurisdiction. I think it's technically authority. And then, maybe I said it wrong at the meeting, but.
No, I don't think you did.
And then, just the next sentence, Mr. Mullen asked if he should direct applicants to appear before the board in cases where he denies them permits on a case-by-case basis, and I stated that the board doesn't have the authority to do that and feels the matter is a zoning change. I think we need to clarify, I stated the board doesn't have the authority to act on a denial on a storage container permit when we don't have any bylaw governing storage containers. I think that was the gist of the discussion.
Yes, it was
That
exactly.
it's not included in the bylaw, nor is it excluded, so our
I'm not
board would
sure-
have no
I'm not sure
guidance.
you should get that detailed in this.
I think I
because-
need to, because we certainly have the authority to act on cases where permits are denied. But on this particular one, without a change in the bylaw, we don't have any guidance from the bylaw. You want to say that?
Yes, say we
Okay.
don't have guidance from the bylaw.
Okay. On a
I don't
case-by-case
wanna-
basis.
I don't want to say we cannot.
Gould
because-
stated the board doesn't have the guidance in the bylaw to do that, and feels the matter should be a zoning change. It should be addressed as a zoning change. Right?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, that's that, and then I'll ask for a motion to, 1, 2, 3, 4, Eli and Kitty will both swap off one of the hearings tonight, so do you want to be the voting member for the minutes, because Kitty wasn't here?
Sure. Actually, they'll both do the one that I use.
Yeah, so I'll take a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I move
I'll
that
second.
we approve the minutes as amended.
Thank you. Second by Cheryl. Moved by John, second by Cheryl. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The minutes are approved as amended. Okay, still a little bit early. Member comments? Anybody want to make a comment?
On that issue with respect to the storage containers, I assume that Mr. Mullen is going back to the planning board to ask them to draft appropriate rules.
I am optimistic that he will do that.
No, it just didn't say like who's on,
Well, we told him, we didn't, it was not our
We can't.
bailiwick.
No, right.
But he works for them too, so he needs to go.
go back and say, please do this. Okay.
Yeah, a good question, because in the past, we've just corresponded with various boards about things like that, so that's a good question, but I don't think we got to that point in the discussion. He was here, and it was pretty clear to him that he should go back to the planning board and craft a zoning change and then present it for.
We certainly understood his concerns and thought they were very valid. However, we felt constrained by the way the zoning.
No, that's all logical and placed out. It was just the, what next?
Process.
Yeah.
Especially if he's coming across
Yeah.
more and more of them, which
Well, and
I
the
thought
other-
was really interesting.
The other item that was brought up was temporary structures. There's nothing in the bylaws that prevents you from putting quote, unquote, a temporary structure up wherever you want. And there's no like time limit or anything, so even one of those tent-like things, you park a car under, could go up, right on the property line and be there forever,
And a lot of them are.
so.
Similar to dumpsters, though.
Huh?
The same as a dumpster.
Yeah, you can put a dumpster in and, just, of course, the dumpster kind of takes care of itself because, it costs so much a week to keep, so most people don't leave them there for too long.
Maybe, if we're lucky.
Yeah. But anyway.
Interesting.
Comments, member comments on anything? Anybody have anything wonderful the sports in Littleton has accomplished, or is there a play, isn't there a play going on at the high school?
Must be, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is either. Okay.
We had an interesting thing happen. You want me to fill a little bit of time?
Well, okay. 1 minute only.
So the veterans decided to make ornaments. Veterans Administration decided to make ornaments out of the banners that were hung up over town, our hometown heroes things, and were selling them to raise money. And they went to the selectmen and they went to the Littleton Water and asked permission to use the small tree on the common for their ornaments. And of course, Rotary has always planted that tree 25 years ago and has replaced it twice over the 25-year period to keep it small so that we can use it for the tree lighting. And we have children who write their names on the ornaments and then, or their wishes, and hang their ornaments on the tree. And then we spend the rest of the month stopping by and picking them up and putting them back on the tree. And sometime in January, we take it down. Well, the Veterans Administration didn't realize this, and they saw us pushing, advertising the tree lighting. And I got a lovely email from one of the ladies of the Veterans Administration saying, oh, no, you can't hang ornaments on our tree. We have put the Veterans Administration, veterans think tags on it, we don't want it disturbed. And I sent an email back saying, I will certainly pass your message on, but let me tell you the history of that tree. And we went back and forth, and the selectmen were a little chagrined because they didn't realize it was the same tree that the Rotary planted and used for the Christmas tree lighting. And we agreed to share it this year and then to help the veterans plant a tree down by the memorial next year. Well, it was so pleasant to share it with them. It gave the tree variety. It looks much nicer with both the little round ornaments and the veterans things on it. We are so pleased with it that we're just going to share it every year.
Oh, that's nice.
And happily so.
And coexist happily ever after.
Yeah, isn't that a cute
That's
little
great.
story?
That's great. Maybe you could use the opportunity for the children who decorate the ornaments to meet the veterans and do something at the veterans.
Perhaps, but one step at a time.
Okay, thank you. It is now 7:10 PM. Right?
Yes.
Calling case number 22-964, 19 White Pine Drive. Petitioner Joseph Pereira seeking a variance pursuant to 17331 to reduce the setback. And I just want to designate, you okay on this one? I'll have you lie on the first one, Kitty, and you on the second.
Nope.
Oh, and we have both of you on this one. Okay, I'm appointing 2 voting alternates. John
Why are you
Sewell is
recusing?
recusing himself, and for what purpose?
I'm in a butter.
So you can stay in the room and you can comment as an abutter, but not as a board member. And who's presenting the petition? Are you Mr.
Joseph Ferrer.
Pereira? So the property is yours?
Yes, I am the owner.
And if I recall, the application got filed by Mr. Worthley? Who is,
I'm sorry, I don't recognize that name.
okay, hang on, I might,
I think
oh, I got the wrong one
That was
up.
the first
Sorry, I
one.
got the wrong one up.
It
Did you
should
file
be-
the
It
application?
should be myself,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
One of them, I'm confused. One of them came in and the contractor filed, but the owner wanted to present. I'm confusing, I'm sorry. Okay, let me just get to the right page then. This one is 19 White Pine. Okay, and is everybody here on 19 White Pine? No, okay.
Everyone except you.
My wife Stephanie.
Okay, thank you. So what we do here is you introduce yourself, you speak first, you tell us what it is you're trying to tell us and your neighbors what it is you're trying to do. The neighbors are welcome to come up and see any plans that he has here on our table or that he has there. And then after he presents, the board will ask questions, and when the board is done presenting, then we will ask abutters for any input and comments, and then you'll have a chance to speak some more. Okay?
Sounds good.
Go ahead.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Joseph Ferreira, and I'm here tonight with my wife Stephanie. and we are seeking a variance for a proposed addition to our home at 19 White Pine. A little bit about the home. It was built in the 1950s. It is very small, only 897 square feet, and we are, as you can imagine, in desperate need of additional living space. We just had our first child a little over a year ago, so we're really starting to feel the constraints of that at this time. So just a little backstory, how did we get here? The decision to go forward with an addition. In the spring of 2021, we tried to sell our current home and purchase a bigger one in town. We knew we wanted to stay in Littleton. We love living here. So we were able to sell our home, no problem, but it was contingent upon us finding suitable housing, and that was the hard part. We put in multiple offers on lots of homes, but didn't win anything. So we gave up our search, and that's when we decided to hire an architect to explore doing an addition instead. So, we brainstormed ideas with him, what we could do, what we can't do. One of the options was going up with a second floor, but unfortunately, that's a lot more than what we're trying to do. So we wouldn't be able to afford to do that. So the best option that we figured out was, as you can see in the proposal, the design plans. We feel that's the only feasible and affordable option for us at the moment. But due to the size and shape of our lot, and it being a pre-existing non-conforming lot, it's only 10,000 square feet. It's a perfect square, 100 by 100 foot. What we have designed, that we feel fits all our basic needs, will not fit within the side setback constraints of today. So tonight, our request for the board is for a 3-foot reduction of the 15-foot side setback requirement under the zoning bylaw, section 17331. At its closest, the proposed addition will be 12.3 feet from the side property line, abutting 23 White Pine. And if granted, we believe that we'll be relieved of our hardship and can move forward with this much-needed addition. So we just want to thank you in advance for hearing our request, and if you guys have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them for you.
Can you tell me how wide your family room is?
The current or the proposed?
The proposed.
Proposed, it's going to be, it's 17 feet wide, but there is a set of stairs on the wall between the garage and the living room.
So it's only really 14 feet wide?
I figured it to be about 14, like 13 and a half to 14.
And did you explore going back further rather than going out quite as far to the left?
So going back is also an issue because the septic system and its components are primarily in the backyard. So that wasn't really an option for us either. The only, place that we could put an addition is to that side.
That's it for me.
Anyone else? Questions?
I have no questions.
I unfortunately didn't get a chance to drive by it, so but the extension is going to be on the side that is 23.
Yes, the abutting neighbor is 23 White Pine,
Yep.
Miss Mary Ann Greenwood. Along with the submission, she was also nice enough to write a letter of support for our variance as well.
So what is it that's going over there? I can't tell from which drawing.
So what's going to be closest to the property line is going to be a single-car garage.
A garage, okay.
It's a standard size, only 12 feet wide.
And it looks like the other property is closer than the 15 feet anyway. It looks pretty standard for this neighborhood to not quite meet the 15-foot setback on the
Where's
sides.
the building plan? Can I see the building plan?
Or do you want to see the plot plan?
I want to see the new footprint, what the proposed addition is showing.
Here it is.
So you're going in the space where that porch is and increasing above
Yeah,
it.
there's the-
And tell me where your septic system is, please?
It's directly behind the house, in the backyard. We do have a certified plot plan that we submitted as well.
There's the leach pit.
It's in between the
Right behind
shed
the house.
and
And
the,
there's a septic tank over to the right. They're
Yes,
kind of,
so the tank is directly behind, the middle of the existing portion of the house.
Okay.
they're kind of shoehorning.
Do any of the butters want to come up and see this? John, Do any of would you ask Fran, do any of butters want to come up and see the plans?
Excuse me?
Do you want to come up and see the plans? Have you seen his plans?
I have not seen it.
Would you like to come and see it?
I have my own copy, if you want to share that with them.
Yes, John can,
Oh, she doesn't want to see him, though.
There's no way to keep the maple tree.
I'm sorry?
There's no way to keep that maple tree?
No, so right where the maple tree is right where the edge of the garage is going to end up being.
You couldn't push that entrance back?
Get close to the septic
I mean,
system.
there's probably no
So
reasonable
are
way
you
to
talking
do
about
it.
pushing the whole addition back? Or,
But it's unfortunate. It's a nice little tree, but.
yeah.
what about,
Then he starts getting too close to his leaching system.
Excuse me?
Then he gets too close to his leaching pit.
what about a privacy buffer on the lot line between you and 23? Is there anything there?
So we do plan to also put up a fence, probably a white vinyl, privacy fence. We want to build the addition first and make sure we have money left over for that. If we do, we'll, talk with Mary Ann and, work on getting the fence up.
Okay, so give me 1 second to allow your wife to explain
Oh,
to
sure.
the abutter. You all set? Okay. And then, any abutters have any comments on this? Pros or cons?
I'm all for it.
And you're an abutter. Where are you to this, John?
The back of 16 Valley Drive backs up to the corner of the rear of their property.
And what
Actually
about,
touch.
what about Fran, where are you to
She's
this?
living in my house, my
I'm
property.
living in
Oh,
this
she's
house.
living in that property. And then 23 gave a letter of support?
She did, yes.
She did?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else, any other comments?
So there's no driveway proposed on here, but
There is a little bit. My copy's black and white. I think you guys have color copies. So
Okay.
right in front of the garage, it'll be a straight shot and then enough room for a second car, just like a single lane. So it'll probably be like a 3 to 4 car driveway.
yes, yep.
So this is a request for a variance board. That means that he has to reach certain minimum standards. And it starts out with, owing to soil shape and topography of the lot, this lot is unique and different from any other lot in the neighborhood. And one of the things that he's described is that not only is it a small 10,000 square foot lot on which the house occupies most of the available area for expansion, but he's also described that the septic system is eating up a lot of the back, and I think he's given us
Map showing it.
verification of that. And then we have to find out that the proposed variance would not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the other properties, and I think that he's satisfied that requirement because he's described that other properties in the neighborhood have similar. I'm also very lenient when it comes to the side setback as long as it maintains the 10 feet, because we have a bylaw that says if it's a detached structure, it can be 10 feet. So I don't think it's more onerous when he's proposing a modest expansion, part of which will be the garage, even though it's attached, and it's going to exceed the 10 feet. So personally, I'm okay with it, but anybody else want to comment, or do you want to close the hearing and discuss?
I make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Cheryl moved to close the hearing. John seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Sir, are you here about White Pine?
Sorry,
Are you here about White Pine?
no, I'm here about 331.
Okay, that's fine.
Moved and seconded to close the hearing. The hearing's closed. Now, who wants to talk about the findings or the discussion?
It seems like a no-brainer to me.
You want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we, sorry. Be
I
back
should
up.
probably write the words out. Grant.
I didn't bring a pencil and a paper. I make a motion that we grant the request for variance for 19 White Pine Drive. I'm looking for the number. ZBA case 22-964, as shown and presented,
Yeah, just keep the side setback.
with a side setback to not be any less than, let me see, let's give them a couple inches,
Yeah.
couple inches of space to screw up.
He said 12.3 feet.
Not less than 12 feet. Is that enough, or do we want to do 11?
No, I think we should
12
go
is
to
reasonable.
12, even 12, yeah.
To not, be the side setback to be not less than 12 feet.
Second to that motion?
Second.
Cheryl first, and Eli second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Unanimous.
Great,
Congratulations.
thank you very
Now,
much.
it's a variance, so it has a 20-day appeal from the date that it's written,
Okay,
and maybe
If
with
you
a little
proceed,
luck,
it's
I
at your
can-
own risk. and
No,
the
they
20
can't
Right.
proceed on a variance
No.
at their own risk. They have to wait the
Special
20
permit.
days.
yeah, this probably wouldn't start till about April anyways, so we got some time.
There you go.
All right. Well,
Congratulations on the baby.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you all for coming out and taking an interest for your neighbor.
Art, are you the architect? Are you the architect?
Is it time? What?
7:20.
Yeah. Okay, 7:20 PM. It's 7:20 PM. I'll call the case numbers 22-964, 22-965, 331 Goldsmith Street. Petitioner Jonathan Worthley seeks a variance pursuant to 17331 to reduce the setback on this property, and who's presenting?
My name is William Richardson, I'm the owner.
Okay, William Richardson, the owner, is presenting. The appeal was filed by your representative, Mr. Wardley, and I have in my file a letter that explains that you're the owner and you're authorized to present to us tonight. I'll just review for your benefit. You present first, you lay out your case and what you want to do and why you want to do it. And then when you're done, the board will ask questions, and then if any abutter comments are in the room, we'll ask for abutter comments, and then discuss it and go back to you if we have any questions. Okay? So you start.
Yes, ma'am. So my wife and I would like to build an awning over our front step. It would be, I don't know the exact measurements. I'm hoping that Mr. Worthley submitted them, but it shouldn't exceed the front step. It should cover just where the front step is, the foot of it. And that's basically it. There was nothing fancy to it, no extension, and it's not going to go beyond the front step.
The front step currently is how far from the property line, do you know?
I don't know, but I assume that it's close enough that we're having this meeting.
Well, this is,
The front step on the corner is 24. Who is Mr. Wordley? Is he your
He's our contractor, ma'am.
contractor? Okay.
yeah, but this is, let me just,
Front setbacks are what, 30?
yeah, bear with me a minute, please. First of all, this house is a corner lot. It's on Goldsmith and Westchester. Second of all, this is a pre-existing non-conforming lot, so we are looking at whether or not we're creating a new variance or increasing an existing non-conformity. It seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, we measure steps now and setback of steps. So if the steps are already non-conforming, and his proposal is not to come any closer to the front yard than the existing non-conformity, then we really could reduce this to a special permit and make it an easier ask and an easier,
Okay.
I believe so.
Yes.
yes?
I agree.
I believe
So
it could
just
be.
give me a minute if you don't
Having
mind,
just taken the class,
because we also have,
I agree.
we also have a corner lot exception, and I just want to, I always have to remind myself what the measurements are on that. So that would be in our use table. And just call everybody's attention to it, because we're all still learning, myself included.
In the meantime, your proposed garage on your plan is already built.
The proposed garage?
Oh, the plan's old, so it just shows a
Shows
proposed garage, it's already
And
existing.
driving by, it looked like that was already there. You're not
No, well,
expanding that, are you?
It hasn't been built yet. There's, the proposed, there is a one-car garage already there. It was built with the home in 1950, and we requested to expand that garage. That was another thing we have in the works.
But
Have you
that's
come
not in
before
front
us?
of us tonight, correct?
No, ma'am, it's just the front step on the front of the house.
Have you come
Just the-
before us
the
for the
portico.
proposed garage yet?
We went through that process, yes, ma'am.
Okay. When did that happen?
It was sometime over the last year. It's been a fairly long process. We had to, I believe it was approved a few months ago.
I think he's mixing up
Yeah, I
coming
think
before
that's-
us with coming before the building.
The notice of
inspector.
intent, Conservation Commission?
Yes, we
Notice
ran
of
into
intent.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've not filed for a variance for the garage to the zoning board of appeals. You've gone to the Conservation Commission and the building department, correct?
To be honest, I'm not sure, ma'am. I don't want to tell you
Who's
something.
doing it, Mr. Worthley?
Yes.
Okay, hang on, just give me a
I don't think
second.
you've been
Before
us.
us tonight, all we have is the stone steps, so the garage is not even up for discussion right now.
Yes, ma'am.
The bylaw reads that if more than one street abuts the lot, I'm looking at the table of use section, it's the end of the zoning bylaw, and it's footnote number 8. If more than one street abuts the lot, then the additional street setback may be reduced 1 foot for every 2,000 square feet under 40,000 square feet of lot area, but to not less than 15. Now, I've never been able to understand what that means, but I think it means that front setback 30 can be reduced 2,000 for 1 foot for every 2,000 under 40. So what have you got for square footage on the lot?
13.7.
13.7, so we're, do the math for me, 27 under? 27 under, so every 2 allows us a 1 foot reduction, so that's 14-foot reduction, but not less than 30. So I don't even think,
Well, I think that they're probably going to want to use that for the garage, not the steps.
so it's not, but
Yeah.
we're not eating it up. I mean,
It's-
you don't, it's not that we're eating it up today, I'm just saying we have that option.
Right.
Or we have the option that he's not really increasing a pre-existing nonconformity. So I think we want to do this one by special permit.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
I agree.
think that it would solve any ambiguity for him and the building inspector if we just grant the special permit.
Now, I also want to suggest to you that we let you move to reduce the request for variance to a special permit. I will tell you that Mr. Worthley did a really good job asking for a variance because you can't go from the lesser special permit to a variance as easily.
Okay.
Now that, and so he covered his base in case we saw this to be a variance. But the difference is that our review of special permits is a heck of a lot easier than variances. So we don't have to reach as many criteria. All we have to do is decide on a special permit that
It's not detrimental.
What we have to do on the special permit is identify all of the ways in which the existing nonconformity exists, and then make a finding that he is not increasing the nonconformity, period. We don't even have to get to detrimental, because it's the same nonconformity that already existed. So, would you like to reduce this to a special permit?
Yes, ma'am. Sounds
Okay.
good.
So we'll accept your request to reduce this to a special permit, and then we will say all the ways in which it's non-conforming now, which is size of lot,
Existing setbacks.
well, just the front setback, right?
Yes.
No. Well,
Maybe a
a
side
side
setback, but
setback,
certainly
they
the
have one
front.
that's
Front
12
setback
or
is,
10.
front setback is less than, it's less than 30, but we don't know how much. And shed's okay. And the frontage on the lot isn't a full 150, is it?
If you count going around both sides.
Well, yeah, I think because it's a corner.
Yeah, you got 80 plus 70, 90 plus 70, so yeah, it's like 160.
If you go around the corner.
Yeah, the street frontage is one.
But if the address is Goldsmith, so you don't count the one on Westchester, in which case it is less than 150.
Right.
I think we should, for safety's sake, identify the frontage as deficient too,
I think
as
so.
a pre-existing nonconformity.
The address is Goldsmith, and he only has 70 on Goldsmith.
Yeah, okay. So then, here one more time. Let's see this one more time, if we have a footnote about corner lots. Okay. Okay, and then, the petitioner has requested that he just put a portico cover, non-habitable space, it's just a weather cover.
It would be made out of wood, it'd be covered with tar, but yes, it wouldn't be habitable.
Okay, okay.
Picture, lovely picture.
Any
Do we have
abutters
the
have any
picture?
comments? Is that what it's gonna look like when
That's
they're
what
done?
it's supposed to look like when they're done.
Well, hopefully the titles will match.
Do any abutters want to speak to this? Okay, I forgot to designate the member that's voting, I think this one is Kitty, right?
Sure.
Okay, so
I make a motion to close the hearing.
Cheryl moves, and who's second?
I'll second that.
John seconds to close. And then discussion, anybody? Okay.
Is there a way to get a dimension on that?
Are you replacing the steps also, or are you using the same steps?
Same steps, ma'am.
Okay.
Let's vote it conditioned on his, him or his architect or his contractor submitting a dimensional number on that one with the building plans, okay? That's a good idea.
Or it's a special permit, we're not increasing the size of the steps.
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
won't.
but John wants it on the record, because if he comes back for the garage, we want it in a
Makes
record
sense.
with the building inspector. Okay, who wants to make the motion?
I move that we accept the request for the special permit for the portico, conditional that the setback from the street sideline be submitted with the building permit for the construction of the portico.
Case number 22965.
And we should add that the portico cannot extend past the existing steps.
As a practical matter, if it's a even number for construction purposes, is there a way to word that it might come a few inches past? and it's not
If
gonna
you
be
look
a-
at the roof line, it does stick out past on the sides.
Yeah,
And
so
so
I
we don't
think we
want to
just
limit
need to say a
that.
little bit.
Well, you want to limit it a little bit, because,
Well, let's say substantially as shown in the
okay.
in the plans, because
I
that
mean,
pretty much
and
clarifies.
he's landing the columns on the platform.
Right,
On the
Which
side.
means
substantially.
that leaves probably 12 inches or 10 inches that it can stick out beyond the columns and still be over the step.
Right.
And that's just,
It's just the sides.
But on
that
the
I
other
worry
hand,
about.
somebody could structurally build something stuck out 3 feet, no problem. I can show you how to do it. And so we want to make sure they'll,
Substantially as shown on the plan.
That'll do.
submitted.
Understood. Okay.
Great.
It's quite lovely.
we love it.
Good luck to you.
Excellent.
Now it's
So I
a
think we
special,
need
now
to
it's a special
vote.
permit.
We need to vote
so-
on it.
Oh, we didn't vote yet.
We didn't say.
Once we voted as a special permit, you could get started at your risk. A special permit, you can start. The building department won't hold up the building permit.
I
Okay.
second John's motion.
Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Excellent.
Good
Thank you all.
luck.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
this. And I guess we'll deal with the garage on another day, so. Is there anything else that you need from me this evening?
No, thank you for coming, and thank you
Paid your
for,
money.
have a cookie on your way out if you want.
We have a copy of your check even. Gosh, we're expensive.
You haven't dealt with a realtor.
It's not us, it's the publication and the mailing.
Yeah, the notifications, the public paper notifications are,
Very
Are-
expensive.
No, but it cost the
and there's
man
no more print paper.
Cost the man $500.
The electronic
to come for us.
publications are
I
higher.
took it out of my kid's piggy bank. and
No, but
balanced out.
they must be
This is-
printed
this is
still.
filed.
So it's probably going to the Herald or the Globe.
Yeah.
I think it's going to the Lowell Sun.
We're going to,
isn't
we're doing it
it?
in
This
Lowell
goes out Lowell
Sun.
Sun.
But
Yes.
they're very high, they're very expensive.
Yeah.
They can be.
Surprising.
You're doing probate notices in there, they're
I
very
know.
expensive, yeah. Okey doke.
You're all
All right.
set.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all.
Thank
Great
you.
night.
Bartlett, to what do we owe the pleasure?
Well, I'm gonna be involved in the garage aspect of
Ah. Do you know what the distance is now, out of
I
curiosity?
do not. I don't think I even have a,
Please, when you come
Plot
before us,
plan.
have a
But I
detailed
know-
plot plan with exactly setbacks to every
I
point.
mean, Mr. Worsley has told me that he has a building permit. I don't think that's true. So,
But it is possible that it's true because the garage is a pre-existing setback violation, and under our bylaw, Roland can allow an extension of that already pre-existing violation, so it
That
might
would
be
a
true.
very
it
large
might be,
extension getting
the
much
garage-
closer.
He's building a two-car garage. It's going to be bigger than the one that's there.
Okay, so it's probably coming back.
It's much larger than the existing garage. and
Okay.
Which is much further.
We're still on the record,
I was told the
so.
permit was approved as well. That's why I was a
Was
little
it?
thrown off.
Okay, we're still on the record, so we have to,
Yes,
And I
ma'am.
know that they've been
Let them
through all
discussion.
kinds of nonsense with the, not, business with the Conservation Commission.
thank you. We're still on the record. Thank you.
I make a motion to close the hearing.
We're not closing a hearing, we're
I close the meeting.
in the meeting. Anybody else, any other business, any news? Okay, second that motion, please.
Second.
All in favor of closing the meeting?
Aye.
Okay, hit the switch.